How did I know that I wanted to be a journalist? I probably had the first seed planted in me. I didn't know it then. Probably at the age of 7 years old. I think 7 years old. Yes, around that age. And I was watching, news bulletin, and one day I just stopped and watched this lady. It was a lady who was reading the news, and we used to have like one television station at that time. No, there were two, but the national television station was one that was accessible a lot, and the one we watched a lot in our home. And she was reading the news, and I said, wow, how could she possibly know all of these things that she is reading from, she's sharing from her head. At that time, I didn't know about auto cues and, she's reading from a script that had been prepared and it has been put on the auto cue, and she was reading the information from there. I thought that she was reading from, her head, and that was really perplexing. So because of that, I started imitating her and other news anchors, and every time I could look for newspapers, I could look for books, and I would sit there and start reading, and in the process I would want to cram some of this information and just challenge myself and see how much information have I been able to retain. How good was my comprehension as far as the information that I've read and that which has stuck in my head. And then I could start speaking, I think, through the mirror or something, and pretend that I was also sharing this information. So that is how my love for journalism started. Although at that time I didn't know that that was the path I would take, but there is something about that information and how they were sharing that information and the fact that they were speaking so fluently that captured me. And I said, this is something that I want to do. And then later on, maybe at the age of 8, 9, I'm not quite sure, but still very earlier on in my life, I came across Oprah Winfrey, the show. I think it was showing in one of the local television stations, and I watched it and I said, you know what, that's it, that is exactly what I want to do. And since then, I think Oprah and what she does and who she has become and the excellence that she represents as a woman really became very intriguing for me, and she's been one of my mentors. I watch her and I see her journey, which is quite something, and I think I can relate to parts of it on my own journey, and she's been quite a source of inspiration. And then one of the leading newspaper journalists that I really look up to, Christiane Amanpour of CNN. I love her. She is smart, she's articulate, she has the facts, she has a knack for facts. And I love her. I love how she's done her job. She's been at CNN for a very long time, and I look up to her. And she's one of those journalists I really have a lot of respect for what she's been able to do over a good amount of time. She's been at CNN for a very long time. Okay, so I've been watching her ever since, and she's been also quite a source of inspiration. So what I've learned over time is that journalism, because a lot of people just think, you just go there. If you're an anchor, you sit, you have your script, the research is done for you, and you just look pretty and you just read the news. It's more than that. You have to love reading. You must love information. I don't think there's any two ways about it. You must love information, and you must love journalism itself, okay? Because sometimes it's not the prettiest of jobs, and you must love information. You must love information, and you must love reading, So that has been one of the other things that I have had to learn outside of just pretending that I'm reading. Now I really must read and understand that. So that also has worked into improving myself as a journalist. I think it is that love for information that has sent me to now the degree that I'm pursuing in international relations, because also that also requires a lot of information retention, a lot of reading, a lot of research, and it has really challenged me in a good way, and it is something that I'm really enjoying. And after I was through with my diploma in broadcast journalism. I didn't want to get another degree in journalism. I wanted to do something different, and I thought international relations was pretty much close because I had already sort of gotten my niche. It took a while for me to get my niche and what I really wanted to specialize on in journalism. And now I'm specializing in, African news and current affairs and all that, and analysis and what is happening in the continent. So it's something that I really enjoy. So it was just easier and natural for me to do international relations because I get to learn so much about how states operate, what happens, and perhaps it has helped me understand the position of Africa in the international politics. So I'm able to relate that, and it has really enriched my journalism career. And so, yeah, it is something that I'm doing, and perhaps I will proceed with it even to a further stage. But for right now, I think that was the right thing to do. I was lucky to know what I wanted to do at a very young age. But even with that, I still had to struggle to find my way. But I was very clear over what I wanted to do already at a very young age. And that is usually not the same case with so many of us. Sometimes you don't know what you want to do, and the others who discover much later on in life, or somebody already started on a career and they realize they're not passionate about it. This is not where their calling is. This is not what they were called to do. And so you realize somebody at a later age, they change careers, they change their trajectory or their passion, and they abandon what is it that they've been doing for a long time to look for something that they know that they're meant to be doing. But it's still, I think it's still okay, and we should not be afraid to start all over again if we must. We should not be afraid to explore into something else that we feel is what we are supposed to be doing if you feel like where you are or what you're doing is not serving the purpose of who you're supposed to be. Finding your purpose and living your life's purpose, I think that is the greatest gift you can give yourself. There's nothing like, I can't imagine, like I've said, I'm lucky. I knew what I wanted to do earlier on in my life. So everything I did was just in line with what is it that I'm doing today. A few times I find myself doing some jobs that I completely didn't like or didn't enjoy, but because at that point in my life I needed employment, and journalism was not available for me at that time in terms of job opportunities. So I had to do, like, one time I was a sales and marketing representative in this company. I hated that job. I hated that job. And we used to have a meeting every Friday, and we had to give we had to give an account of how much business we've been able to bring and this and that. And I dreaded those meetings because it's not something that I was passionate about. I hated it. I really did. But it paid the bills for me, so I'm grateful for that. But journalism for me, it is something that it just comes naturally. I will do it for free. I've done it for free when I was being trained. I've done it for free. I've done it for free several times over. I've done it for free because for me, it is not a job. For me, it is a passion. For me, it is something that I was meant to do. It is something that I enjoy doing. So I would do it over and over and over and over again. Okay. And that is the difference. And I think that is how you recognize whether what you're doing is your passion. For me, is something I will do for free. If nobody was paying me, I will still do journalism. I'll still share the information. I'll still go out there and learn, because it is something that I love to do. I love to do, and I'm in my element, and I'm in my most authentic self when I'm doing, what I love to do, and that is journalism. So my hope for you is that you have found your purpose, or you're working towards finding your purpose. And when you find it, work on it and discover what is it that is in there for you, so that you can better yourself and you can live your purpose. And that will be the greatest gift you can give yourself.